Hey, good morning, everybody. John here at Havoc Maker Studio. So, return of panel to play from Atomic Mass Games for their Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, we've seen their other version for, say, Darth Maul for the Star Wars Legion, and I don't think they have the same type of article set up yet on their page for that, or for, say, X-Wing if they decide to do that later on. But at least we're seeing a return to panel to play, and we've seen recently at least this past month, at least the past month of April and part of May, active engagement again with upcoming content. So it's been 84 days since we've seen a panel to play for Atomic Mass Games Marvel Crisis Protocol. The last one being February 21st with Elektra. I think my math is right. I think that's 84 days. I could be off by like a few days, but it's been almost 3 full months. Not criticizing. Well, I guess in a way I'm criticizing, but I'm not doing it in a mean way. I'm not raging, anything like that. It's more of along the lines of, wow, we've gone nearly 3 months without any updated game content besides FAQs and erratas. Okay, that aside, it's just surprising that we've gone that long. That's all. But today we've got the release of the panel to play, which I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. We'll put the link in the comments below or the description below. So if you guys want to go to the page and read the article, I don't want to take away from their written article, but it's really more about, hey, these are what her abilities are. So we're going to take a look at her card. So her healthy side and her injured side are the same. So I'm not going to look at both of them. We're just going to look at one. And then at the end, we're going to compare it to my previous video a few weeks ago of what my first time doing it. So it's probably going to be a little wonky of predicting what we might see on a character stat card. Since then, I feel like I've refined that my ability after reading a bunch of articles like on recalibration matrix or from across the Bifrost or friendly neighborhood web warriors, or even the mutant agenda, where I've kind of get a little bit more idea of the gaming side of this, which I tend not to focus too much on because I'm more the hobbyist side. That doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. It's just that's what draws me to it. But lately I've been more into the gaming now that I've been purging myself of Games Workshop mentality and focusing more on a combination of fun games and what draws me in, and the combination of everything. So anyways, long story short, this first one's going to be wonky. I'm probably going to be off the mark on a lot, but we'll take a look at that at the end. So first, let's just dive into the character. Black Swan. What do we got? So looking at her first stats before we get to her abilities and powers, very robust 4 defense in physical and energy, a 3 defense in her mystic, which I figured it would have been flip-flopped with her being a somewhat of a telepath, but I got to remember she is super strong and durable. She can go toe-to-toe with Heralds of Galactus. Heralds of Galactus are very powerful because they're empowered by the power cosmic. They're very powerful individuals, earth-shattering type individuals. She's got very nice 6 health on both sides. She's a threat 4, and we'll see why. Size 2, I think that's fairly easy to predict, and a medium movement. Okay, I mean, we know she can fly around. She's not known for supersonic or, supersonic flight or moving on the ground. Doesn't mean they can't write that into it later. Just right now, she has not demonstrated that. So let's take a look at her attacks. So she's got 3 attacks that we're going to go through. First one is kind of the typical, but a little twist. It's a basic physical strike, range 2, normal, 5 dice, which they tend to be 4 to 5 dice, 0 power. And then, of course, after the attack is resolved, you get power equal to how much damage you dealt, if any. Then, if you happen to get a wild symbol, you get to push the target character that you're attacking If they're size 4 or less, which is pretty much every character, I think only maybe Dormammu might be a size 5. I don't think so. I don't think there's a size 5 character yet, but it could be. And if so, that means Dormammu right now, maybe Sentinels later, are the ones that can't be pushed, but we'll see. Put that down in the comments if he is a size 4. I don't have the character card anymore because that was part of a giveaway. So, anyways, you can move a character, the target character size 4 or less, before you deal damage. So this happens regardless if you cause damage or not. You may push away. So you guys got to remember, because I definitely have encountered this recently, make sure you read your powers, because sometimes those abilities say may or must, or some or all. In this case, may push away a character range S. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's not too bad. I-beam, this is definitely like the strike, being in line with her physical strength and abilities. The I-beam, she does have optic blast. Why they call it I-beam, I don't know, but whatever. Range 3, 5 dice, 1 power. After the attack is resolved, the target character gains the Incinerate special condition, which you guys can correct me if I am wrong. Maybe put down the comic book name and the issue number, but I have yet to see, and I've delved a little bit into a lot into her character in the comics, and I've not seen her have anything resembling Incinerate. The Pierce power that she has with this 5 dice attack is in line, I think, with what I was predicting. She has a very intense, very focused, precise optic beams, or optic blasts, is what they call it. And they get the Pierce ability, which allows you to change a defender's successful dice to a blank. That is, I think, in line with the comics more than the Incinerate. But hey, you know what? That might be a developer's thing to make that I-beam a little bit more tantalizing versus, oh, it just has Pierce, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, this makes sense. Everything dies. Okay, that's a very bold statement. Everything dies. This is basically like her rage attack. Range 2, 8 dice for 4 power. Very, very high cost there for 8 dice, but you get 2 special abilities off of this. First up, if you get a wild symbol, you get to throw the target, and that range S. Doesn't care what the size is, the character is getting thrown. Size 1 through whatever they want to, if they go up to size 5 characters. So like if Dormammu is a size 5, he's getting thrown. Unless a character has an ability that negates being thrown. But not a lot of people have that. Also, with those 8 dice, if you happen to get a successful hit on a symbol on one of those dice or more of those dice, you get to do 1 follow-up attack or 1 follow-up ability. That is the I-beam attack, and you don't have to pay the power cost. So you not only are you getting 8 dice off of this attack and possibly throwing a character, you're also doing the I-beam attack, which is another, that's 5 dice worth of attacks there, guys, that ignores range and line of sight. So it doesn't matter how far you push them. It doesn't matter how far they're thrown. You're going to have line of sight. You're going to have range, because it's like you're rushing up there. You're pounding on them, ground pounding, elbows, knees, instep, groin shot, whatever. And then you're blasting them with your I-beams. That's pretty devastating. For 4 power, I will save up my power for that. Then we look at her only actual superpower is called Charge. I like this. It's definitely in line with the character. It costs 2 power. This character immediately makes a move action followed by an attack action. It can only use once per turn. This does cost an action. We see this with other characters. I want to say less than 5% of the characters out there have something similar to this. This is I don't want to say a standard, but this is a cool ability that we see pop up now and then. I mean, if you were to use the charge action, and you spend your 2 power for charge, and then you spend the 4 power for everything dies as that attack action off of charge, then you're going to get a follow-up. If you happen to get the dice set up for the follow-up, then you're getting an I-beam. So off of 6 power, you're getting a movement and 2 attacks for 1 action. That's a pretty cool combo. I think there's going to be some cool combos in there. Midnight Field, we know she has a force field ability. It costs X power. You spend any amount of power during the modify opponent's dice step of the attack. For every power that you're going to spend, you can change one wild symbol of the attack roll to a blank. This is very beneficial. First up, you're negating one successful hit roll, because that does count as a hit, and a lot of powers out there, or a lot of attacks out there that have a follow-on ability, kind of like the strike with the push, that usually requires a wild symbol to pull off. And in some cases, there's some powers that require multiple symbols, 2 to 3 symbols, with the wild symbol being included in there. So you are negating follow-up abilities on top of a successful hit. That is really good for one or more power. And you get to wait to see what your opponent's dice rolls are before you go, I'm going to go ahead and spend the power or not. You might not even need to. That's cool. I like that. Telepathic suggestion. We know she's a telepath that has the ability to communicate, and she can kind of like do some probing abilities, not probing, but probing with her mind, which can be very jarring, very jolting. For one power, when this character is attacking, it can use this superpower during the modify opponent's dice step of the attack. If it does, it may re-roll one opposing defense dice. That's not too bad. Now, if I'm understanding this, you guys can put it in the comments below. So if I'm attacking, I spend the power, and then during the modify opponent's dice step of the attack, this character, may re-roll one opposing defense dice. So I get to, does that mean I get to re-roll their defense dice, one of their defense dice, or basically, hey, just go ahead and re-roll one of your defense dice? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, so she has flight and gem bearer power. All right, let's see what her comparison is to my first time doing the predictions for these characters. So I can already tell that I am all over the place and very close to being 100% wrong here. Well, we're not going to say 100%, but we're pretty close to 100%. So out of the 7 abilities that we're going to see here, first up, I've got her defenses flip-flopped. So I'm going to have to take the L there. It was a gamble, and I lost that gamble. So I had 3s for her physical and energy versus their 4s, and then I had a 4 for Mystic versus their 3. I'm flip-flopped there. My 5 health to her 6 health, that's pretty gosh darn close, but I'll take that loss. Threat 4 versus my threat 3, definitely a loss there. I'm not too sure why I put the medium. I'm not sure why I have a medium or a long range movement there, because you'll see why in a second, but I do have, that technically is a loss here. And then a size 2, I got that right. So 1 out of 7, it's not 100% wrong, but gosh darn pretty close. Then let's take a look at her powers and abilities and see how they stack up. So I don't know why I didn't include a physical strike, knowing and even talking about it in the previous video where she is able to go in hand-to-hand combat. She's a frontline fighter. She can go toe-to-toe with Heralds of Galactus. She literally is tearing a robot apart on her physical miniature. She is a puncher. She's a striker, and I did not include it for some reason. I think I intended to, and maybe I was just going, all right, she's going to have a physical attack. Let's just focus on this since this is my first time doing it. I've refined it since then, but I had to take that as a loss. So we're going to combine her 2 optic blasts into 1, because I feel, looking at these and her I-beam, they're very close. I was in the ballpark enough. I'm going to call this a win. It's range 3 versus my range 4s, 5 to 7 dice versus their 5 dice, and 1 power from 0 to 3, my choice. The incinerate, I really believe that is a developer's choice. Prove me wrong, I'll take that loss. But the piercing, I definitely got right. I'm going to count the optic blast a win, whether you agree or not. The super strength, power 2, pickup size 3, and throw medium. I'm going to say I'm close enough in the ballpark between the abilities of the strike and everything dies. The ability to throw, I was in the ballpark with this, and this is before my understanding really kind of got focused on these. I'm going to still count that as a win. It's a weak win, but I'm going to count that as a win. We're in the ballpark there. And then the charge attack is totally something I did not include. Force field, we're almost exactly like the midnight field. It cost X power to reduce damage. Well, in this case, in her case, it's X power to reduce or to alter the wild symbol, which is very significant. It's in a way it's better. In the attack roll to a blank, I would say that's damn near close. And here, that's what I was talking about earlier with the movement. I put flight medium. That's obviously where the direction I was going. I didn't change it on the other one, so I'm going to count. I have 2 out of 7 on the other side, and I'm saying we're pretty gosh darn close to everything here. Telepathy, that was supposed to be high mystic defense, and obviously I got that wrong. So I'm going to count this probably about a 60-40 in their favor, maybe a 70-30 in their favor versus me. But I would say overall, for my first time doing pictures and the graphics and actually focusing on it, not too bad. We'll see how Supergiant, Heimdall, and Scourge match up later on. And you know what? This is the first steps into doing this and my first time really focusing on the game aspect of this. I'm excited about it because I just like kind of theory crafting with this based on evidence, not fanboying or wish listing, more on these are their abilities. This is a logical step. I got it wrong this first time out. No big deal. We'll see what the others bring us. So let me know what you guys think. Is Black Swan going to make it into your roster? I think she's going to make it into mine. I really feel like she, and possibly we'll see with Supergiant, we might be seeing the new husband-wife duo. Okay, they're not in a relationship in the comics. I'm kind of referring to with them being paired up in a box. Maybe they'll have some team tactic cards that feed off of each other as a replacement for the husband-wife duo of Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive. They're a good combo together. We might be seeing a new combo, possibly with Supergiant and her. We have a mental psychic parasite creature entity and a physical powerhouse working together in conjunction. We might see some good combos here, guys. But we won't know until we see Supergiant and those team tactic cards. But I think we might see something really cool coming down the line. At any rate, let me know what you guys think of Black Swan and my breakdown. If I'm sure somebody's going to go in there and go, well, John said he got this close enough to being right. This is definitely wrong. And, you know, here's your actual percentage, John. You're actually 27.83% right versus whatever wrong. Go ahead and give that breakdown to me. I will take the, I can take the loss on this one. I got some stuff right, some stuff wrong. Actually, a lot of stuff wrong. But if you guys know what the percentage is, let me know. We can kind of start keeping track and make it a new mini game for the episodes. At any rate, you guys have yourself a wonderful afternoon. We might see you later this week with some new information coming down the line for a couple tabletop miniature games. What could that be? Well, you're going to have to just be a subscriber and wait and see. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll chat with you later. See ya.